Welcome to Unscripted Wellness, the podcast where real conversations meet real movement. This is brought to you by Get Fit Meridian. We're here to explore fitness, whole health, and well-being without the fluff. No scripts, let's just be honest, practical, real conversations. Let's get started. All right, what is up, you guys? This is Hannah, your host on Unscripted Wellness at Get Fit Meridian. Today we are recording episode number 5, and I am beyond excited to introduce our special guest today. She is actually a Get Fit member, and she has such a powerful story from eating and drinking whatever she wanted for 37 years to walking away from Western medicine and losing over 50 pounds and reclaiming her health. Today's story is all about hope, faith, and resilience. I'm so excited that you're here, Jenny. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, a little bit about you. You can do some fun facts, whatever you want to start off with.
Okay, so I'm Jenny Anderson, and I'm a mom and a wife. My husband, Matt, is also a member here at Get Fit, which is so exciting. And then both of our boys, have come here for family events. Let's see, I am now a stay-at-home mom. I worked for 11 or 12 years as a respiratory therapist. That's what I went to college for, and then ended up going and working at a middle school for a year, which was awesome and really good for me to see what kids go through in middle school. And the huge jump from elementary school to middle school is huge. And then for reasons that we'll get into, I'm sure, but ended up deciding to be a stay-at-home mom, which is hilarious because I did that once my kids were back in school. So, yeah, not while they were home, but I still keep myself really busy.
Yeah,
and
sports and
oh my goodness,
activities,
yes.
and it's a lot. I want to kind of dive into. I want to share the story about your first class. Is that okay? Okay. So I want to say it was in February of 2024. So just 23. Well, 24 because we opened 20. Let me get my numbers right.
Oh yeah, it's only February, or it's only 2025 right now.
Yeah.
I get my years mixed up.
Same. Well, especially because we opened 2023. That's just like
December,
the end of the year.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think February,
yes,
right?
You're right.
Okay.
Actually, I wrote it down February 8th.
I love it.
I almost brought you like an anniversary gift last February 8th.
Should be your gift.
Was there, but I forgot.
Oh, no, I remember that's when we were just like barely open, like firstborn, like 2 months in. Not even a full 2 months at that point, maybe a month and a half because we opened the middle of December. But I remember your first class, there was you and Margaret. So 2 of you, and it was chest and tricep day.
Okay, I didn't remember that. I remember it was me and Margaret.
Yeah, so it was upper body. But you had talked to, I think, Alyssa prior to coming, and just kind of like nervous about class and stuff. And I remember you sharing like your feeling of like, I just need to be in this place, and then shared a little bit about your story, your past, having cancer and everything, which you'll dive into in a little bit. But I was like so nervous. I'm like, okay, like it's chest and tricep day. I'm like, she's never coming back.
Well, I didn't know you were nervous. So.
Yeah. But I remember you sharing with me how many times you drove by the building. So why don't you like go into like your thoughts and like your feelings even leading up to your first class? Like maybe explain to our listeners, what was that like driving force to get you to step through the doors to take your first class? Because obviously there's a lot of nerves that come with it, and a lot of emotions and stuff. So kind of like walk us through what kind of like led up to that day.
I mean, I know we'll touch on all of this, but first of all, with going to the gym, I've always had a love-hate relationship with working out. I was a dancer in high school. I started dancing in 6th grade and was in the studio every night. I was never very good, but it at least kept me active, and it was just
so fun.
Something fun and active to do all through high school. And then in college, I would take some workout classes, and then, would be in a gym with a membership and do classes and then just kind of fall away. And this is just like really fast forwarding through, but I was diagnosed with cancer at 32. Fitness-wise, wasn't doing a whole lot. honestly, that's all kind of a blur. I just remember 4 years after being diagnosed, I had a recurrence, and what came from that is I was at the gym and had been working at the middle school for a year and gotten a really good routine of going to the gym, going to Orange Theory, taking classes, excuse me, every night after work. And gosh, I don't know how many months, if it was 6 months in or maybe even a whole year in, and I started having chest pain. Not like I'm having a heart attack, but, and it just wouldn't go away, and it kind of kept getting worse, but I just was like, man, I must have a rib out of place or something. And then like a month in, the pain just got so bad where we were laying there doing chest presses and I just couldn't do it. And so then I was like, okay, I need to go in, and they did like an EKG and a chest x-ray just to make sure, and everything looked fine. And then he was like, okay, well, if it doesn't go away in a few weeks, let me know. And actually that happened. And then the whole going to the gym and the chest press thing, and it was like, I just couldn't do it. So then he was like, well, it seems extreme, but let's just get a CT. And again, not thinking anything of it. And so I'm just sitting at work at the middle school, and I get now I say dreaded, my chart, you have a new test result, because now I have PTSD from that. And I open it up, and it's like, basically it was cancer in my sternum, and I just was not expecting that. And already been through so much trauma with the whole cancer thing. Yeah. Anyways, that went on to, a year of being depressed and terrified, and I wasn't working out, and everything got much worse. And so then it had been like a year. We live pretty close to here, but I was like, I need to get back into something. I don't remember all the thoughts that went into it, but every time I would drive by here, on the way to my in-laws' house or my parents' house, or even just go to the Y, I started seeing this building coming up, and then some flags that said a gym, and I don't know, it always just piqued my interest, and I just felt this draw to it. And then in January, we were on vacation in Mexico, and I don't know why, but I remember sitting in our hotel room thinking, okay, when I get back, I'm going to join a gym again. And this one popped in my mind again. And so I got on your website, and I was reading everyone's bios and what you were about. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely. And like when we got back, I think I was in counseling. I've been in and out of counseling for forever. He was like, okay, like step one, call. And so I did. And I think I was in weekly counseling, and by the next week he was like, okay, did you call? And I was like, not only did I call, I've joined, and I've already done a few classes. And he's like, whoa.
5 steps ahead.
Yes. But when I got in here, I was kind of telling you all that. Like, I just feel this pull, and you were like, and at this point we had started going to church. That's a whole another story. But I was like, you said something about, because I was like, well, what brought you here? Why this building? And you said, well, we were really praying about it. And that was my, okay, now I can tell her, I just have felt this pull. And then you told me how you guys have all this scripture on the wall, facing the street. And I was just like, yep, like God for sure has me here on purpose. And then we ended up finding out we go to the same church, and I was like, oh,
I love it.
So cool.
Yeah, I'll never forget your first class. And yeah, I mean, even those little things, even before like the sheetrock and everything went up, we invited people in, and family and friends, to write all over the walls. So, I mean, even the walls were in here, childcare, training space. People wrote down scripture verses and prayers and hopes and dreams, what they, desire for the Get Fit community. And it's awesome to know that like it's all there. And we have tons of pictures and videos of that, but, just empowering. And you sharing your story, just, obviously the little tidbits that we have before class and someone comes for their first class, sharing with me, your road to having cancer in your sternum, which I feel like is so rare. I mean, that was the first time I, heard of that, and cancer is so near and dear to my heart. And that's when I was like, oh no, like everything's like chest press today and hex press and push-ups, but your perseverance, I'm getting chills talking about it, and just your drive and your focus, not only that day, but like even till this day, being, a year and a half in, about maybe, a little bit over that. Yeah. I can do some math off the top of my head. And just your consistency. And not only that, like having you on this podcast is such an honor, and I know it's going to touch so many people's lives. And, you know, even though people may not be going and relating through the exact same thing, but people can take tidbits from, you know, all of our stories, and how it's going to encourage and just really kind of shift some focus of there's so much out there in social media and all of that, and kind of just want to dive into the realness of health. So, question for you. So take us back to your first diagnosis at 32. Like, what was life like then? Like, how old were the boys then? And yeah, just kind of walk us through like the initial like start of it. 'Cause 32 is, I mean, so young.
It is, and unfortunately, that's getting more common too, which I have a whole spiel about that too. But okay, so I was 32. Our youngest Cooper was October, so he had just turned 3, and Brody was 5.5. He had just started kindergarten, and I remember, well, I was going to a gym at that point because I remember after the gym I was really sweaty and I got in the shower and was just washing and just felt kind of a lump. And I was like, that's weird. And it almost reminded me of like having like a clogged milk duct, but Cooper was 3. He wasn't breastfeeding anymore. And so I was like, And I don't know, I just kind of went out of my brain after a week and then popped in my head again like, that is just so weird. And I was working at the hospital still, so I had a nurse friend kind of like, what do you think? Kind of feel around, like, I don't know. And anyways, so breast cancer technically runs in my family. My great grandma and grandma both had breast cancer. But again, and I just want to, so I always assumed, okay, they've had it, like me and my mom are going to get it. Like it's just going to run in our family. And don't quote me on my statistics that I give, but I think genetically you only have like a 5 to 10% chance of getting breast cancer if it's genetic. Also, I was in my 30s. They were in their 80s and 60s.
Wow.
So that is very different. Getting it in, I mean, almost the curve goes way up on getting cancer as you get older.
Yeah.
So if they had been in their 30s, yeah, maybe. But anyways, so, went in, he didn't really, just my general family practitioner didn't really feel concerned or anything, but with the family history, he was like, okay, well, let's just get you in for a mammogram. And so I went, not thinking anything of it, went by myself because I was like, well, they'll just take the quick picture and then I'll find out later. And she's like, well, you know, it'll be followed by an ultrasound and then the radiologist come in and talk to you about it. And I was like, oh wait, I get my results today? And she's like, yeah. And I was just like, so I called my husband, who also worked downtown Boise, and he rented one of those little scooters and buzzed on over, which is kind of funny. But anyways, thank goodness he was there. The radiologist came in during the ultrasound and was just not very nice and very quiet. And I was like, are you concerned about something? And she's like, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'm, okay. So she goes on, you know, and then I just remember her being like, okay, so I'm very concerned. And I just remember this out-of-body experience just drop, and it was horrible. But then the ball started moving really fast. Like, we want to get you in for a biopsy. And other people, well, one other person who I knew had gone through this, like the biopsy's like 2, 3, 4 weeks later. And they're like, no, go get food. It's like in an hour. Okay. And so within less than a week, they called me and full diagnosis. And this was, actually, I found out on Halloween in 2017, 18, I don't remember. Within 3 weeks, I had a full mastectomy and then started chemo like a week after that.
Wow.
Yeah. And so just full mastectomy, chemo, radiation, and then hormone blocking treatment. And then like in a year and a half later, so in 2020 is when I had my first reconstruction surgery and just went through all that. So yeah, The boys were very young. He had just started kindergarten, my oldest.
Yeah.
I was still working at the hospital, obviously took a ton of time off. They were very supportive. All of our friends were amazing. But yeah, like nutrition and health-wise, worked out a little bit, but nothing religiously. And then nutrition was horrendous, which now looking back, I didn't realize how bad it was, but it was so bad.
What, like, maybe walk us through that. Like, what what was like, I guess like growing up, like, I mean, nutrition wise, I mean, even like leading up to that day, like, do you like recognize maybe some things or?
Processed food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sugar. And I know that my parents will listen to this, and I love you. And we've talked about this, and my mom, I think sometimes maybe feels bad. It was no one's fault. First of all, my brother and I were very skinny growing up. We never were concerned about anything. You know, my mom's like, well, we didn't have much money. I will say my best memories is we always ate as a family. Always. We had dinner as a family. I would go grocery shopping with my mom. You know, my mom made me breakfast every day. I mean, yes, it was probably Eggo waffles. Love you, Mom. But
Maybe some syrup.
A lot of syrup. But I mean, we just, first of all, didn't know.
Right.
And second of all, I think food has gotten much worse since then.
Yeah, I agree. It's so different from when we were kids.
Very different.
Yeah.
Even my in-laws, because I'm like, oh, I don't know about the boys eating bacon every day, and they're like, we ate bacon every day, we're fine. And I'm like, I do think
So much added.
So much has been changed and added, which I have lots of theories on that too. But so growing up, you know, hamburger helper. We always had a vegetable with dinner, but like, again, like we didn't really worry about like weight and health because I don't know. And so we always were making cakes and brownies, and we always had Little Debbie's in the house. I remember junior high, typically my lunch was a Little Debbie and a bag of chips. Again, I was a 00. Like I was tiny. It was not, I was a dancer then in high school. You know, we had open campus, so always fast food at lunch. We were busy, fast food a lot at dinner. Just none of us understood anything about nutrition. Like, okay, you know, and so then, you know, in my early teens and 20s, so Matt and I met, I had just turned 20 and he was 23. And he really started getting into nutrition and fitness his freshman year of college. He says that he was always a bit overweight in high school, and then he went off to college and ate and drank what he wanted, but it only took him one semester to come home, and his dad said, oh, you're getting my double chin or something silly, and he saw a picture of himself and was like, whoa. And now if any of you know my husband, I mean, he's been doing bodybuilding and weightlifting and extreme nutrition, not extreme, but really strict on that.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because we're opposites, we know that, but like he never like harped on me. Like he was training for bodybuilding show, and he would be eating, you know, plain rice, broccoli, chicken, and going to the gym, and I literally would be at home ordering pizza, watching Netflix. I don't know if Netflix was a thing back then. Anyways, watching TV and like
HBO.
I mean, that was just, I mean, he always, like, when I had issues come up, he'd be like, you know, I think diet nutrition would be pretty helpful. And I'm like, ugh, shut up. Like, eating right doesn't fix everything. Stop it. And like, but like, we wouldn't argue about it. He'd be just like, okay. He's just so laid back. And now with everything I know, I'm like militant. Like, what are you doing? What are you eating? Why can't you fix it? Which is, anyways. But so, yeah, just, and then alcohol. Like, I started drinking when I was 15, and it was always a problem. It got worse. I always would be like, oh, let's cut back, or I need to quit. And it just never happened. Even through chemo, I would have a week of not feeling good, and then the next week I'd be drinking.
Wow.
And I don't think I was very honest with my oncologist about that, but I definitely, she didn't pick up on it, but I would ask sometimes, like, is it okay if I drink? And she's like, yeah, like 1 or 2, you know. I mean, I was definitely not only doing 1 or 2, but I needed someone to be like, no.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, this is really hard on your liver anyways. Not to mention nutrition. And it just drives me nuts that I'm like, well, should I be eating something certain? And I hear this all the time. They're like, just eat what tastes good. We just need you to be eating. I was overweight. Like, if I'm like on the advanced end of cancer and can't keep weight on, again, I think it needs to be very healthy, proper nutrition. But when you're like, eat whatever you want.
Yeah. People are going to take that with literally whatever they want.
Yes. And now I've just heard so many stories, like my nutrition coach, you know, she has a lady who had hormone positive breast cancer and would openly tell her oncologist, I eat a 5 pound of M&Ms every day. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, not like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and it's, nutrition is everything. What are we?
Yeah. It's like, how is it feeding your cells? I mean, literally, even just the alcohol, what, why don't you walk us through, do you currently drink now? I guess like what made you stop drinking then? And kind of walk us through, like, did you find yourself like, oh, like I'll have it on the weekends, and then maybe it turned into like a Tuesday night and a Thursday, and maybe it wasn't like, I don't know, you can share with us too if you feel comfortable with it. Like, was it excessive of, hey, I'll just have one drink here, or did it lead to like another one and another one? I don't know. Maybe share if you feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, no, I feel comfortable with sharing like anything to a fault. So no, you know, every holiday, every vacation, every get together was always centered around alcohol, and it was kind of a slow progression. Well, no, that's not true. The amount of times that I drank excessively in high school was huge, and the decisions that came out of that just had lifelong consequences. I mean, it just really bad. And then, so no, I don't drink anymore. It kind of feels weird to say I've been sober since, but I haven't had a drink since September 26th of last year. Wow. And before that, for almost a year, I had drastically cut back. Anyways, so drank heavily, tried to cut back several times, like, okay, we'll only drink on the weekends. Because, you know, getting a 6-pack, I would always drink the whole 6-pack. And I mean, and that's actually not even that much. We would then go into wine, and then I started drinking hard alcohol. And then on the weekends, I mean, we would have friends over, and they would leave, and there'd be 12 empty, you know, wine bottles on the counter. And that was just our norm. That's what our friends did. That's what we did on vacation. Always going to all-inclusive places, because that included the drinks. You know, and Matt too. Matt, you know, would drink a lot, and that's just what we did together. And Matt and I have a pretty great marriage. I can count on maybe one hand the fights we've been in, and all of them were so intense, and they all surrounded alcohol. All of them. And it's so embarrassing. There's one that the boys witnessed, and it was awful. It was awful. So just horrible memories of decisions I made, fights I've been in, not fist fights. Yeah. Just, you know, with arguments. Yeah. Just horrible.
Conflict.
And then, just wanting to quit and just never could. And then it would just ramp up again. And then like, oh, dry January. And then it would ramp up again. And so we started going to church. So I was re-diagnosed in 2022 and went for a year of being sad and depressed. And I always felt like I believed in God, and we went to church a little bit growing up. And quite a bit when I was in middle school. For like a year or two, we went to a church, and I have really fond memories of that, but just nothing really stuck. I don't remember going to church in high school. I never doubted God's existence, but in no way was he a part of my life. Or we always talked about going to church, Matt and I, and just, it never happened. I worked every other weekend. We just never made it a priority. So after about a year of just being really depressed, I can't even pinpoint what it is. I just was like, we need to go to church. And I don't know why it was the church we went to. I don't know if it was seeing, you know, bumper stickers, or I got off social media in 2020, but before that, maybe seeing people saying they went there. I don't know. But we just started going in August of, what year did I start coming?
2024.
So it must have been 23. And I just hit the ground running. Like the first sermon was about serving. And I was like, what does serving mean? oh, volunteering? No, but like serving others, like that's what you should be doing. And so I started serving at the church within like a week. And then I started, I went to Gather and Go is what they call it, to join a community group. Like I was in a community group within 3 weeks,
That's awesome.
you know, and I'm still with that group. Well, and kind of rewind a little bit. What took me to church was when you like face your own maybe possible death, because I was like, okay, getting cancer the first time, I didn't really worry about it killing me, I don't think. But then when it came back, and they don't talk about this a ton, but one of the most common recurrences is in your bones. It's either, I think, liver, lung, bones. But I always thought if it came back, it would be maybe in the other breast. And so I really, I had breast cancer. I don't think I said that.
I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I wanted a double mastectomy, and all the doctors were like, no, don't do that. And I was really frustrated because I'm like, if it comes back in the other breast, I'm going to be so mad. Well, no one sat down and was like, it's actually not that common to come back in the other breast. It's more going to be lungs, bones, liver.
Yeah.
And so when I had the bone pain, I wasn't thinking, oh, it might be that, you know. And so, anyways, where was I?
I know. This is a lot.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's awesome information. I mean, everything like
Okay, so
leads towards each other. I mean, I want to dive back into even the alcohol topic, because I know that's a very hot topic for a lot of people. And what I hear you saying is you ultimately stopped drinking for your physical health, but then, if I'm hearing you out correctly, it has also healed a lot more aspects in your life. So obviously, like, you know, Get Fit, you know us, like we are all about whole health, mental, emotional, physical. Obviously, we love the weights and everything. But I mean, even healing relationships, and I mean, even just like emotional and probably mental, you know, help through your journey, you know, where I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm going to, you know, go to this and it's going to, you know, cure this and these feelings, but it just keeps coming back. It will always be there until you actually deal with it. And I mean, what I hear you saying is like stopping that and having that healing process. Like that's one, I guess, like square, right? And then leading you to church, which has led you into community, which is the people that you're surrounding yourself with. I'm guessing like on a weekly basis, maybe even daily, like texting and that kind of stuff. And, you know, having those people to also keep you accountable. It's huge, you know, in church and here at Get Fit. I mean, we're huge about community too, and making sure people are connected with other people, and showing up for class. And, you know, when we notice people aren't here, okay, like we need to check in with them. Like, what's wrong? Oh, just, you know, vacation, whatever. But we want to make sure, like, you know, people are tracking in their health, and, you know, helping those that do slip up, because we are human and those things are going to happen. Have you noticed, like, what have you noticed physically since stopping alcohol?
So I joined a program at church called Regeneration, and it's like comparable to a 12-step program like AA, but much more obviously God focused. And it is still 12 steps, but it was through that process of, and I joined that for healing from just like the trauma of having cancer, and very quickly realized, oh, I should probably stop drinking. And, oh, I need to work on these like root causes of why. Like, I had a great childhood. My parents are together. Like they didn't drink, they didn't do drugs. And so I kind of was like, where is this coming from? And it makes you dig deeper of like, what caused this and what, and so that really helped. And so it was through that process that I decided I needed to quit drinking. And well, I needed to cut back significantly. And like, I did. It was like maybe a drink once a month, maybe. And even, and so that went on. But huge, just the emotional, mental stuff. I've always had severe anxiety and some depression, and alcohol always made that way worse. Like in the moment, it kind of felt like maybe it helped, especially with social anxiety. Oh, I'll have a few drinks, it'll make me feel better. But no, it always made it much, much, much worse. So that has helped huge. And then, so everything was stepwise. Like I started going to church. That's been going great spiritually. And then regen and really getting to the root cause of things, community. And then I joined Get Fit right in there too. Like I was like maybe a month into regen.
Wow.
When I joined. And from February to June, I think worked out quite consistently. I don't remember if I changed much in my diet. Like the drinking was very minimal. I think I tried to eat healthy. I don't know. But then in June, I had another recurrence of cancer.
Yeah.
So I was getting
This
PET
past
scans. Yes. Well, not June 2 months ago. 14 months ago. Yes.
We're going to get on this timing.
Oh, man. I know.
2024.
Dates. We're in 25, correct?
Yes.
For 24.
I think so.
Anyways, and that actually was kind of a beautiful thing because I've been going to church for almost a year. I had my community group. I had my gym community. And it was so much easier. Like I didn't get in this funk. I remember actually there was about 6 days of kind of, nervous tummy ache. Oh man, here we go again.
Yeah.
I kind of always was like, okay, when's it going to come back? Because kind of what I've been told, or it's been alluded to with my oncologist, is like, once it gets into the bones, like it's kind of going to keep coming back. And we have so many medicines we can try on you. And then this one stops working, we'll go to the next one. We never got into the whole, like, what happens when they all stop, but I knew in my head.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay. But again, I was nervous, but my community group surrounded me. This gym surrounded me. And I remember sitting at my desk on like day 6 and I was praying and I just had this overwhelming sense of like peace. Like all the anxiety around it stopped.
Wow.
And it hasn't come back.
That's awesome.
I know that can only be from God.
Yeah.
And I remember at that time also, I was actually volunteering at the church for a kid event, and the day I got the news, and I also just had this thought. It was the dreaded, you have a new test result, and okay, now it's in your pelvis. And the thought just came to me. It wasn't my own thought of, you need to do something different. You need to do something different. And I immediately thought of some friends who have always kind of gone the more holistic naturopath route. And we were at church that night, and I asked my husband to text that friend, like, hey, where do you guys go? And after looking into it, because they had just taken their kids there, a naturopath, and like it's down the road from us, like less than 5 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's been there for a while, and he specifically works with cancer patients.
Wow.
And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
And so just went down that route.
Wow.
So it's just been stepwise building on each other. I mean, it's all God. It's him leading me here, and then to natural, and then that's when diet really became huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you walk us through like what role in joining Get Fit, like what did it play in your like healing and health journey, and obviously like currently too?
Yeah. So, well, just the community. I love seeing everyone who has been coming here since I've been here, the growth that they've had, and the community of just kind of always being in the same classes and always seeing the same people and smiling faces. And then the community event that you put on for me was so
fun,
sweet and amazing. And just, I still look back at those pictures, and just that support is so amazing and means a lot. And it means a lot for Matt too. I mean, people came up to him, they're like, we had no idea. And it's kind of funny because like, we've been going through this for 6 years. So like when people are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah. And so, but just him having that support is huge, and just kind of people knowing more. And so that's been huge. And then just, I went a year of doing nothing and not moving my body. And so then when I started, I was still doing the hormone blocking and I call them chemo pills. I'm just going to call it that. I was still on chemo. And so it was hard, and I was quite overweight, and I was like, well, I'll never be able to do a box jump. But I wasn't really hard on myself because I was looking around, like, not comparing myself.
And you're always so
because
positive
Oh,
about
thanks.
everything. You are
It's like,
optimistic.
I've just never been competitive because I've never been very good at anything.
You are.
So
Now you're like, let's just go back. Let's just rewind a little bit. Your first day being chest and tricep day. And I was like, oh, please come back. And then now I think it was like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. Clearly we have no concept of time between me and you. But a sweet picture of you and Matt, and he's spotting you on the bench press with the whole barbell. And I'm just like staying back, like, man, like I feel like I think I was training that class. I can't even remember, but like just a flashback of that first class, like, you know, struggling to do push-ups and having to do different alternatives for, like, you know, obviously it was chest targeted that day, but then now watching you, I'm getting goosebumps. So like over a year and a half at this point, rocking the chest press on the bar with plates. And I'm just like, it's so inspiring. Aww. And it's contagious how positive and optimistic you are. And why don't you share, like you shared with me that you've lost over 50 pounds and obviously feel great. Why don't you share, like, what is the most rewarding part of that? And what, if you don't mind sharing, like, what did you do to accomplish that?
Well, obviously working out is huge, and the consistency. And for me, it helps my mental health so much that then I can do the hard things of eating better and just staying consistent with things.
Yeah.
And so when I started at my naturopath, he started me on a diet. I was only on it for, I hate to call it diet, but it was,
Way of eating.
Way of eating, yes. And I started that, and I love food. Like, I am so addicted to food. I also love to cook, which is a really good thing, because I was like, okay, I've been training for this. Because I always watch cooking shows and, like, baking shows. And so I was like, okay, I know how to do this stuff. And so how can I tweak it to use these foods now that I can eat? And it was hard, though. Like, what was hard was the cravings, because sugar, processed foods, it's easy, it's fast, and it's purposely addictive. You know, they put stuff in it to make it addictive and taste good.
More
and more. And you're never satiated. Like, how can I eat 2 dozen donuts? You can't eat 2 dozen steaks.
Yeah.
And so it was really, 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 really hard. I actually remember saying to Matt a few weeks into it, like, okay, now I get, because I think I had read a few places, people being like, I'd rather just die than have to do this. And actually now I've encountered multiple people who have said that. Like, yeah, that sounds great, but I could never give up my brownies, or I could never give up my whatever it is, fill in the blank. And I remember feeling that way. Like, this is really hard, and I don't know if I actually can do this or even want to.
Probably went through, like, essentially like a detox too. Like,
oh my gosh.
Headachy, probably shaky, irritable, which I can't even imagine that.
Oh my gosh. And it was like for like 6 months, because I made so many changes. I severely changed my diet. The alcohol wasn't a huge thing because I had already cut back so much. And then very rarely drank. We went to Paris. We went overseas last September. It was our first time in Europe. And the whole time and again, God has done this. I tried quitting drinking so many times, and I just couldn't do it. And that desire is gone.
Wow.
Like I can't, it's not that I can't be around it. It doesn't bother me at all. I have no desire.
That's awesome.
But when we were in Paris, the last night we did a date night, and it was like an all-inclusive thing. So it came with, why it came with 3 full bottles of wine for 2 people is insane to me, but it also kind of shows that even around the world, like, alcohol is just a normal and very promoted thing. And so like we started with champagne, and then you had a red and a white, like, and I'm like, oh, I'll just have a little, which turned into 4, 5, 6, but again, hadn't been drinking for a long time. I felt awful. And the next day was the day we flew home, and then I got sick. It was terrible, and I haven't had a drink since then. And I do not miss it at all. Love it. Anyways, so then when I made all these changes with diet, not only did I do that, I added in a ton of supplements and then doing a lot of just kind of detox things on my own at home that my naturopath kind of guided me through. Yeah. And so it was months and months and months of just not feeling great. And I had got the reoccurrence of the cancer diagnosis, which I was kind of surprised because I felt great. I had no pain. I was working out. I had been working out for 4 months. And so then I go and do this, and my family is like, you look like you feel terrible now. Why are you doing this? But I just trusted the process and just was like, nope, I'm going to keep doing this. And I mean, it took a really long time to start feeling better and like it was working. But now with the labs that I follow and obviously the weight that I've lost and the way I feel and the paths that I've gone down to be able to work out even harder, you know. And so after a few weeks, he suggested a nutrition coach, and we meet, not virtually, just over the phone, actually. She's based in California, but she has me on a modified ketogenic diet, which I know some people maybe hear keto and go, oh, that's a trendy diet, you know, but
there's certain ways you can do it.
There are certain ways.
Yeah, I think
I'm doing it a very certain way.
Yeah, like society, I mean, I think a lot of, and I could be wrong in this, I'll admit if I'm wrong, but I think they have a concept of they hear keto and their minds automatically go to like tons of fat, like sour cream on everything. And you know what I mean? Like tons of processed bacon and processed sausage and just things like where you can do it in a natural way, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe share what you typically like eat in a day to give people like that perspective on like the whole health approach towards the ketogenic diet.
So yeah, the high fat is olive oil, avocado oil, butter. But again, I'm very like strict, like it's organic grass-fed butter. It's not just any butter.
Yeah.
And then
Can't believe it's not butter.
No. Don't eat margarine. Don't eat. And it's you hear fat and you think bad things, but it's the red meat or the chicken thighs, not breasts, because they're fattier. So right,
egg yolks.
I mean, right now it's a lot of meat, whether it's chicken or beef, a lot of eggs, some vegetables, very minimal berries, and mine's pretty like. I've had friends like do keto for a few weeks or months, but like they're like, "Oh, can't you eat this?" And I'm like, "No." Like there's certain vegetables I don't eat because of oxalates, and then I don't eat seeds and nuts. Although everything has evolved. Like I actually was dairy free for a while there, but definitely completely grain free. And you know, my naturopath is like, only eat organic, don't eat pork. Do grass-fed, all this stuff, which I completely agree with, and that's what I do. My nutrition coach wasn't as on, like, she gave me a list of things to eat, but it wasn't like only organic or only this. Whereas, like, my naturopath is like, don't eat pork, it's really dirty. And so sometimes I will have bacon. I try and get like the cleanest bacon, but again, it's not every day. It's and then I get organic eggs and so yeah, it's just the perimeter of the store is where I stay, and it actually really I did dairy free. It was very depressing. I don't recommend it. No, I think there's something to that, but I do eat. So I use heavy cream or a full fat cheese in some things, but I'm not like
recipes
sour cream on everything.
Yeah,
although it is delicious.
It is delicious, especially in tacos.
But
because I know, like, even nutrition coaching people now, alcohol is typically one of the hardest things to get people past, where I feel like, people have the mindset of like, oh, like it is one or two or just on the weekends. But obviously it's affecting so many avenues of health. And a lot of the times, a lot of us don't realize how damaging it is to even your metabolism because it it takes forever to metabolize. What would you say to somebody, like what advice would you give them to like the listeners, if they are like kind of on the fence of like, I know I need to stop doing this, or maybe stop the processed foods. It doesn't even have to be alcohol. Maybe someone's not struggling with that. What would you say or encourage them to, like, what is the first step that you would encourage them to do to like stop that in their health journey?
First, I would say just really be honest with yourself. Maybe write stuff down because I think people are like, well, I don't have a problem. Or, yeah, I do drink in moderation. Or I eat pretty healthy. Like, first of all, research what does healthy mean and really write it down. And, I mean, I don't think any amount of alcohol, but if it's, I mean, I'm extreme. If it's more than one drink a month, I'm just like, I don't think most people have it under control, and that's a big, bold statement, but I just, and then, I would just say, take a deep dive, be honest with yourself, and then maybe make a pros and cons list. You know, like these are the pros of me drinking this or eating this, or I'll hear people be like, well, I work out so that I can drink, like I got to the point where it was like, and again, I was like, fighting for my life. I also think everybody should have that mindset because the amount of chronic diseases out there right now, and the way that the American diet is affecting us. I mean, just get out there and look at the statistics. We actually kind of should be thinking, I need to not do this because it's for my life. But just start to kind of do the research and see, and just write stuff down and just take one little step at a time I think the pros and cons list, because also like you're going to start trying to convince yourself like, well, it's not that bad, or, oh, it's not, I don't, okay, well then what are the pros of drinking? And so for me, it was like, okay, I'm doing this really hard work in the gym. I'm being really strict on my diet. I'm taking all these supplements. I'm spending so much money on supplements. Why on earth would I eat this or drink this? It gives me no benefit.
No progress.
At all. And if it's the only way you can wind down or the only way you can have fun, I think you really need to dig into that then. Because that was kind of for me for a while there. Well, like, that's just what we do. Like, I learned this in regeneration. Sometimes you have to change your playgrounds and your play friends, so really, when you ask me that question, my first step is find Jesus. He's the only reason I can do this. I still am like, I have no idea how I quit drinking. Well, actually, that one is like, no, I mean, that was for sure God. It all is. But it's like, how have I been able to stick with this diet and this exercise plan? It's only because him. And I mean, I am all in. Like, all I listen to is worship music. All I do is listen to podcasts about either nutrition or faith. All the books. I mean, I'm unrecognizable. Like, my mom every day is like, you're a morning person now? Like, or I just talk about God with like everybody, I mean, everyone's just like, who are you? But I mean, we just had a sermon at church and he was like, I think a big question people need to ask themselves or ask each other is, how has your life changed since you found Jesus? And if it really hasn't changed much, I think maybe you need to dig deeper. Like, have you surrendered everything? Like, these things should bother you now. These things. I don't know. So.
Oh, I love that. You, one of the things I want to ask you, like, what surprised you the most about joining this community? Because I know, you talked about being in other communities, but what has like surprised you the most here? And, having a background of going to other gyms prior to like us being open, and like, what has taken you, like, what has taken your breath away? I was going to say that. I'm like, that sounds weird, but what has surprised you the most about joining Get Fit and being here?
All of you trainers, and just how real you are and nice and genuine, and it doesn't feel like an act, and it doesn't feel like this is just your job. I definitely have to be in a community where you're telling me what to do. Like, I can't just go to the gym. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to lift. I don't know what machine to do. And I don't motivate myself. I'm just like, I don't know. So it needs to be like a class and we're all doing it together and we're pushing each other in a good way. So that's been huge. And then, you know, I've gone to other gyms where it's, you know, classes and everything. And I don't know, there's just something different about the community and kind of hanging out afterward and chatting. And typically I am one of the first to leave because I have social anxiety and it stresses me out. But I try and kind of push myself and, you know, get out there and ask people how they're doing and what's new with them. And, oh, how's your kid? And, oh, how's school going? And, oh, blah, blah, blah. And so the community part is huge. I don't know. I just feel this sense of belonging and again, seeing the progress of everybody. You know, Margaret since has had a baby and now the baby comes class and it's so fun to see.
So
and
sweet.
Everyone's kids, just seeing them grow. And then just all of us women, I mean, we have guys in our class too, which is awesome. And all of us 9:30 a.m. women, just like seeing everyone do a little more weight each week. And I don't compare myself to them because I'm like, dang, they are really doing a lot of weight. And I'm over here still doing my 10 pounds. And I'm like, man, but it doesn't bother me because it's like, I know that this is my journey. And so.
And all here for like the common goal. How do you handle seasons of like low motivation? Because obviously like very disciplined, you're very consistent. Do you ever like, how do you handle that when you feel not motivated?
I know that routine and consistency are huge for me. And so I just have to keep going. So if we have a long weekend or if we go, like when we went on vacation and we were gone for, 10 days or whatever, that's really hard for me because I get out of my routine of everything. I don't wake up and drink my coffee and read my Bible and do my prayers and then go to the gym at 9:30. Like I am so routine, like oriented. And so when I get in those slumps, I just kind of have to force myself.
Yeah.
And I love coming here. And every morning I have to tell myself to do it.
Yeah.
And then the days that I don't and I give in, I always feel like crap later, like mentally. Like,
Totally.
So.
What's the best small habit someone can start today? What would you say?
You know, none of the habits I feel like I've done are small because I'm like, quit drinking alcohol. That's
You've
huge.
made some big leaps.
Quit eating processed foods. Like never go out to eat fast food wise. Those are huge. Find Jesus. Huge. So small. I do everything one step at a time. Because it can get really overwhelming. Yeah. The amount of research I've done, it's like, okay, you need to drink more water, but make sure it's filtered and make sure it's not out of a plastic water bottle and make sure I'm like, oh my gosh. And it can be really overwhelming. So don't get overwhelmed. You know, like when I say don't eat processed foods, well, what the heck am I supposed to eat? I don't cook. I don't have time. You know, like I know.
If you make like small changes each day. So if someone that's listening, maybe just living off of processed foods, maybe it's like, okay, I'm going to scale back and not just cold turkey completely, but maybe it is, okay, at dinner, at lunch, I am cooking that. Or, you know what I mean? Like those little things. No, I think that's fantastic. And sometimes, even if someone isn't doing the best on water intake, it's like, okay, maybe you're having 30 ounces on a daily basis. Well, let's start to bump that up to 50 and take those little gradual steps. And then, you know, by day 5, soon enough, you know, you're hitting 80 to 100 ounces of water. It's like, you know, little baby steps. I want to like have some fun questions to ask you. What is your like go-to pump up song before a workout?
I have such boring answers because I only listen to worship music now.
I love it.
Like I know.
Okay, well, who's your like go-to artist?
Phil Wickham.
All right.
But he doesn't pump me up for the gym. Like I used to listen to like Fall Out Boy or like I don't know, and now all of it I'm just like, ooh, what are they talking about?
But you're like you're in the like right mindset. Like you might not feel like, oh, I'm gonna go like hit, you know, whatever 50 squats from it, but you feel like, yes, I'm doing the right thing today.
Yeah, it's worship music or it's podcast on the way here. And so I do like Yeah. So the pump up music thing is hard for me because like I do kind of miss some of that. Like, but then I'm very like black and white, and then I start hearing the lyrics. I'm like, nope, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so that.
Phil Wickham is great. I think he's actually coming to Boise
Yes,
soon.
we're going.
I love it.
But again, I don't like work out. That would be like.
I mean, go for walks and stuff. I always listen to podcasts on my walks and my runs. I know that might be weird, like running to podcasts, but there's something so emotional and different and just stress relieving when you do those things. So I'm all for it. What is the funniest or most memorable moment you've had at the gym? Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, it's more funny, and I just shared this with you before the podcast, but on Friday was not having the best day, and I was just like in the zone, and we were doing max hang clean and press. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. Like, I'm going to go nice and heavy. And my mind was just like in left field. And I was going for it. Like, if you know me, you know that I love hang cleans of any kind. Like hang cleans, squat cleans, power cleans, hang clean and press. Like, sign me up. I'm in. It's right up there with snatches for me. And so I was like going ham. And I'm like, this is great. And then I went way too heavy. And as the bar was coming down, it dove right onto the top of my nose. And in that moment, I'm like, I don't know if I want to like laugh at myself or cry. And I'm like, I swear I know how to work out. And I just like, so now my nose is bruised and people are looking at me. And I'm like, let me just like save you. Like, you don't even have to ask. Let me just tell you the story about my nose. And it's been like this all week. So that is one of my funny memories. And it just happened Friday.
I'm so glad it didn't break your nose.
See, we're human.
That's like crazy. I'm always scared that on a what are these skull crushers that I'm actually going to crush my skull and die. And I'm like, please don't drop this. I don't know if I have a funny one. I would say memorable is not thinking I would ever be able to do a box jump and then being like, okay, like my year is in it, or my goal is in a year, I have to be able to do this. I think I was able to do it in like 6 months. So
That's
it was way
awesome.
sooner than
Heck
I thought.
yeah.
And I started on the wooden boxes because they're smaller, but those things are treacherous. If you kind of catch a toe or a shin, like at least the Rogue ones are like
they're soft
bouncy.
and cushiony. Yeah. And I think too, like the most memorable moment, like with you in the studio is the night that we called it the Thursday throwdown, or it was a Tuesday throwdown. I think it was a Tuesday. We had a workout for Jenny and just, come along, support her in her cancer journey. And that was such a huge class. So many people came and they brought their kids and everyone was wearing their No One Fights Alone shirts. And it was just so impactful that just so many people just showed up and we didn't even know we can fit that many people in the training floor, and we did it. And just seeing people that maybe not even really know you yet just show up, that love and support, and purchase a shirt to be a loving, kind person it was incredible. So
that was amazing.
That was so cool.
Did not want you to do that because I don't like being the center of attention. But
we didn't give you a choice.
No, you didn't. And you kind of asked, and I was like, ask Matt. I don't know. You guys, I don't know. And I especially think he needed it in our family.
That's
awesome. No, that was amazing. Some people showed up that I hadn't seen in years, and I'm like, how do you know about this? Like,
so cool.
And they're like, well, it was posted. I'm like, oh yeah, that social media.
That social media thing. It can be good. It can be a positive thing. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with some more rapid fire questions as we wrap up today. If Get Fit could have a theme song, what would that theme song be?
That's a really hard one. I'm so bad with music.
I know, or you're gonna think of a song like on your drive home, like, oh, I should have said this.
Okay, give me a second. I'm not very good at this rapid fire thing.
Eye of the Tiger.
Yes, I
don't know why
like
that came to my mind.
Yes. I don't know why, but All I Do Is Win, that rap song
That's
came in my head.
so funny.
I don't know why, but that's what popped in my head.
Let's go. I was going to say, or whatever song says, let's go. I feel like that's just like the theme here.
Yes.
Don't know what to say. Let's go.
Or I've got your back.
Yeah, I got your back, team. Okay, if you could design a dream workout, no limits, what would you do?
Do I go with all the moves that I think are really hard and I hate, or?
I always look for ways to be uncomfortable and change.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So I hate burpees. I'd probably put those in there. I hate walking lunges. I'd probably put those in there. I love deadlifts, especially like the single legged ones we did today, or like
Yeah.
the sumo ones. I really like those.
Those are
There's something
awesome.
about that stretch that I'm like, ooh, I like that. I would get to choose the playlist is the biggest thing. It wouldn't be or all worship music, but like definitely like just silly, innocent 80s and 90s songs and country
Fun.
and
I love it.
definitely no rap. It's just not my jam.
That's so funny.
Man.
No, that's so cool.
I know actually. And it would be 2 hours long because the last hour would be stretching and deep breathing. I
Nice.
love stretching afterward. It's just so nice.
2 hour workout. We're going to put that on the books.
Well, you're not actually working out the 2 hours. The last hour is stretching and
mobility and hanging out. I think I think we should do that. I think it'd be awesome. We all need it. If you're inspired by today's story, know it's never too late to start making small changes and consistent changes. Jenny, thank you so much for being here with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
It's awesome. That's a wrap. This episode of Unscripted Wellness. We hope you find something to inspire your movement and mindset. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and connect with us at Get Fit Meridian. Remember, wellness isn't about perfection. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. Until next time, keep moving.